Here are 10 quick tips that you need. Hey guys, this is Jeff with Fluent American, and I want to get right into our tips, starting with this one. Lengthen your vowel sounds. English is a language that focuses more on vowel sounds a little bit than on consonant sounds. So if you're talking and you feel like people have a hard time understanding you or misunderstand you or ask you to repeat yourself, it could be that you're just not holding your vowel sounds long enough. So I really suggest holding your vowel sounds as long as you can. Exaggerate it. It might feel a little weird at first, but to a native speaker, it's going to sound more natural. Take a look at this word, for instance, town. Town. So in this word, what a lot of students tend to do is they kind of rush to the N. So like town, town. But you want to hold that ow sound longer. Town, town. That N really isn't added until the very end of the word. So don't rush towards it. Next, make sure you're linking your words. We've talked about this in other videos too, but just to give an example for the most common situation, when you have a word that ends on a consonant and the next word starts with a vowel sound, you want to attach that consonant onto the vowel sound. To give you a quick example, it's out, it's out. So that S on its is going to link with the O on out. So it's not going to be it's out. It's going to be more it's out. It's out. I would also encourage you to do this across thought groups. So for instance, sometimes when you're talking, you need a moment to think about what you're going to say. So for instance, you could say, it's on the table. It's on the table. So notice what I'm doing. I'm holding that N on. And what that is doing is it's helping link the thought groups a little bit more. So instead of saying it's on the table, you can hold that last sound longer. It's on the table. Next, stress content words. This is a huge topic that we've also talked about in other videos too, but just some real quick things to consider. English is a stress-timed language. It's not syllable timed. That means that if a word is more important in a sentence, it's going to be held longer. If a word's less important, like a preposition or an article, things like that, it's not going to be held as long. So you want to make sure your content words, typically nouns, verbs, adjectives, you're holding them a little bit longer. To give you a quick example, I saw the car. I saw the car. Your heavy stressed words are going to be saw and car. Car is going to be your heaviest stress though. So car is going to be the word that you hold the longest. I saw the car. I saw the car. Make sure that car is again held longer. You also raise that pitch. For more information on stress, definitely check out this video though, because it's a big topic. Our next tip, if you're stressing things, then that means you also need to be reducing things. So again, English is stress timed. Not every word is going to be held long. So again, words like prepositions, articles typically get reduced. Also in words that have multiple syllables, what you'll often find is that parts of that word will also get reduced. Take a look at this word, decision. Decision. You're going to reduce that first syllable. You don't usually hear decision. It's usually more decision. It becomes a schwa sound. Again, that video we mentioned earlier will not just go into what words to stress, but also what words to reduce. So I really can't recommend it enough. Halfway there, you want to make sure that you are pronouncing stressed words correctly. How do you do that? Well, we've mentioned it earlier that you want to hold the vowel sounds longer, but you also want to raise the pitch. What is pitch? Think of a piano. You have on the left side of a piano, you have those low notes. On the right hand side of a piano, you have those higher notes. It's like low, high, low, high. You want to raise the pitch on words that are stressed. To give a quick example, I took the test. I took the test. Notice that test has the highest pitch in that sentence. It's like I took the test. Test has that higher pitch. When a word is stressed in English, one of the ways you demonstrate that is by raising the pitch. For more information on pitch, definitely check out this video. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about a couple of quick things with vowels that will immediately make you sound more natural, starting with long vowels and L sound. So English has some sounds that are called long vowels. It doesn't really have to do with time, like how long you hold it. It's more just what the vowels are called. But these long vowels, what you want to make sure you're doing is that when you pronounce them before the letter L, you're going to add an ul sound before the L. To give you a list of some common sounds that do this, take a look at these. Style, style, stale, stale, steal, steal, spoil, spoil, stool, stool. Notice in all of those we add a quick ol sound to them, and this is immediately going to make you sound a little bit more natural. Hey, looking for pronunciation practice and feedback every single day? You want to be in our Telegram group? Check out our Patreon page for more detail at patreon.com/fluentamerican. Another vowel that's going to change a little bit depending on the consonant after it is the A sound like in cat. When you combine this with a nasal, a letter like an N, an M, or an NG, this is going to break into two parts. You're going to feel your tongue slide back more, so instead of A, it's going to sound a little more like eh. And then you're going to do a heavy breath out of your nose before the N, M, or N. So it's like So for instance, in a word like this, man, man. Doing this A sound plus a nasal is going to immediately make you sound more natural. If you want more information on this sound, take a look at this video. Next, a key vowel sound for American English is the ah sound. It's a little bit different than you'll find, for instance, in British English. This is the ah sound you see in words like stop, stop, or hot, hot. It's not stop and it's not hot. It's more stop, hot. Making sure you're opening your mouth wide enough, lower the front of your tongue, lower the back of your tongue. In fact, if you look at yourself in the mirror when you say this, you should be able to see back into your throat. Ah, ah, stop. Nearing the end of the list for number 9. I really encourage you to use more contractions in your spoken English. If you listen to native speakers, they're going to be using contractions all the time. If you listen to people who learned English, they tend to not use even half as many contractions. So things like theirs instead of there is, or you're instead of you are, or even things like this too, like wool instead of we will, or hull instead of he will. These are definitely contractions that you want to start incorporating into your speech if the goal is to sound more native-like. Our final tip is to try to master intonation patterns. We have lots of videos that talk about intonation patterns, but just to give a quick recap, there's falling intonation, there's rising intonation, and then there's a mixture of the two. Falling intonation sounds like this, fall, fall. Rising intonation sounds like this, rise, rise. If you're not sure when to use them, if you're not sure you can hear a difference between them, definitely take a look at this video, which goes into much more detail about intonation. But again, intonation is a key part of English because it can take a sentence and completely change the meaning. For example, really, really means a very different thing than really, really. The only thing that's changing is the intonation. So again, making sure to study intonation patterns to make sure your meaning is coming across the way you want it to. Have some other tips that we didn't mention today that you think are key to sounding natural in American English? Let us know in the comments.